Hello everyone, welcome to EduHubSpot's brand new L&D podcast series, and I'm truly delighted to invite our special guest Konrad Fernandez from TESOL. Thank you so much, Konrad,
My
for
pleasure.
joining us here for this conversation. And I've already heard few interesting things about your role, especially how you are leading the learning and development initiatives at TESOL all across India, and it's a huge responsibility and impactful space to be in, and particularly at the time when organizations are especially evolving rapidly with AI, reskilling, workforce transformation. Before we dive into the discussion, I would love to start with to know more about you, about your career journey, and how you found a way to learning and development world, and especially what your role in TESOL looks like today.
All right, yeah. First of all, happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So my background is mixed. I've been in the industry for about 30 years now.
Wow.
And mixed when I say I spent the early part of my career in marketing, operations, and of course, L&D was a constant theme for me because I had a passion for L&D. So, even when I was not in roles which were related to learning, I was doing something in learning space. And last several years, of course, I've been focused on L&D.
Okay.
In TESOL, which has been recently joined December last year. So the role is managing the global L&D, and it's very exciting, very good culture in the company. I'm really looking forward to making some changes here.
That's great. So thank you so much, Konrad. And I think it's very interesting. And with this, I think it already sets a great foundation for the discussion today. So my first question to you, Konrad, would be that, what are the key shifts that are needed for a L&D to become a business driver rather than become a support function? Because I see nowadays organizations are investing heavily on AI and learnings. Rather, the business outcome is often unclear. So in your perspective, what key shifts is needed for an L&D to become the business driver rather than a support function?
So very interesting question. The thing is, I'll rather frame it as what the ecosystem needs to change. Mm-hmm. So it's not just L&D. If L&D alone changes, things may not happen. But one of the things I feel L&D can do a lot better is business immersion. So understanding the business, being much closer to the business, listening with empathy to what really the business stakeholders are looking for, what would they like to see happening, right? And when that happens, I think the business also begins to take L&D a little more seriously. So while it's there, it's happening, of course, but I think it's an area where L&D as a community can do a little better. But the flip side of that coin is, what the business stakeholders also need to do, and which is walk the talk when they say learning is something that we want to take seriously in this organization. So when I say walk the talk, it should be, can these actually translate into KRAs, KPIs, instead of just saying learning is important for us. So jointly, if L&D and the business can include learning as a key focus area in the performance cycle itself, right, I think that's one key step. And the second thing is to show seriousness, right? For example, if there's a workshop going on, a training workshop, even a C-level person just showing up for a few minutes sends a signal that this is something important. So I feel collaboratively, if L&D and the business stakeholders can understand each other better and together look at this, then a lot of change can happen.
Yes, Konrad. So as you write, whatever you have shared, it really resonates, because what I think in what it actually captures, many of us in L&D space have been, have felt it from a long time, but couldn't really had the clarity to articulate. And as you rightly said, that L&D must stop, completing continuing or counting the completions, rather focus on delivering the outcomes. And it can only happen, as you said, when the learning is coming from the business as well. The learning initiatives are coming from business, not only from the learning team. So with this, I think now I feel it's getting intense, and we can move toward our next question. So yes, Konrad, I have just seen in one of your article that you mentioned about push and pull learning model. So what do you think that in an organization we can, form such culture where employees will take initiative of their own learning journey? And, because I see an organization still are into push learning model rather than pull learning model.
What I mean when I say L&D moving from push to pull is really the buck stops with the learner. I mean, that's my conviction. An organization at the best can curate learning. It's not really responsible for your learning. I think somewhere down the line, learners feel that, I'm here and I'm going to get serviced by L&D. Or HR is supposed to give me some sort of learning path. That's not really the case. I mean, the point is, if you can do your job optimally, you may not even have a need for training, just to give you an extreme example.
Right.
So what I mean by this is that, yes, we should not push. And what we can do is typically show somebody that, okay, this is your performance data.
Right.
So showing them is one of the first steps, right? Saying many people feel they're doing a great job. So maybe show them saying, okay, yes, you're doing a great job. Some gaps are there. would you like support from learning? So in other words, our role has moved from curating to actually enabling these guys. So we're not just providing content, we're saying, okay, here is how it can mesh in with your learning goals and your needs, performance needs. If that doesn't happen, if people don't admit, then there may have to be an assessment. I feel sometimes at some point you must bring in a validation saying, okay, if you claim to know this very well, you're supposed to be a master at this, we'll assess and find out. And then it may put them in a better disposition to say, okay, fine, I've got you. Maybe I need some help on this. Final stage, of course, I think is mandating. I think organizations are very much within their rights to mandate certain learnings if the learners are just not up to speed on where they need to be in certain KRAs. So I would say show, encourage, assess, and finally mandate. That's a cycle I would sort of describe.
Right. Couldn't agree more, Konrad. Like from your responses that, when the employees will know the result from the learning that they are getting, and it is kind of shaping their future. So it's something that it is a shift from compliance to culture, where when they see the growth, they won't be waiting to be trained, right? And they will now push forward and will choose to grow.
Absolutely.
So yes, thanks, Konrad. So with this, I think let's move ahead for the next question of the theme. I have a very important question, and I'm sure that most of our viewers would be, loving to have a lot of respond towards this particular question. Is beyond the hype, where do you see that AI have really given a meaningful impact to learning and development? Because right now in AI in L&D is surrounded by a lot of excitement and experimentations. So in your perspective, what do you think that AI have contributed towards learning system?
Yeah, so I like your question about the buzz and hype. So really there is more talk than actual action. So I would say in the last few years there is some amount of adoption, but it is a long way to go. But if you look at what has happened so far, definitely content is one space where AI is being actively used. And when I say content, it's not just putting content together, it's actually curating, customizing content, making it more learner-centric, making it more enriched, bite-sized, so people are able to relate with that content far better. And in fact, now there are licenses where you can access several tools, and it can also help you with deep research. So especially roles which require some sort of research, organizations can help them a lot better with these kinds of subscriptions. So that's one piece as far as content or content-based learning. The other is AI coaches. AI coaches and role players, I would say, sort of are two sides of a coin. And they are being used, interestingly, not just in skilling and practice, but also in assessments. So I would put this all together, actually, AI coaches, AI role players, and assessments all in one bundle. And of course, finally, when all this is used and there's enough data that comes out of the system, it helps AI also curate very specific customized learning paths for learners. So I would say broadly, this is where it is, and definitely more adoption is happening, but a long way to go.
So thanks for answering, Konrad. That's really insightful. And what I feel is that, AI's contribution towards learning isn't the efficiency, but the relevance. And that happens when it is to enhance the human growth, not to, replace the human connection. So with this, I think we will move on to the very last question of today's discussion. What L&D leaders should focus on to build a future-ready workforce?
So I'm reminded of this futurist Thomas Frey. Some years ago, he made a statement that the average young professional coming out now, by the time they're 30, they would have had 12 reboots to their career. And that's not just job changes, right? It's reboots. That means they have to get back to the baseline and start learning something new.
Right.
So adaptability is going to be one of the key skills, definitely, that the new workforce has to be ready with. Adaptability means learnability, agile mindset. That's one kind of thing that they have to be ready with. The second bit I would say is skills that AI cannot replace. So when we think of those, it's like, strategic thinking, people management, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, asking the right questions. These are things that typically, traditionally we say AI will not replace. So helping the workforce upskill in those areas is going to be another focus area. Okay. And the last, I think, is not thinking about AI not being there, but embracing the reality that it is there. It's going to get more and more mainstream. So how can we collaborate better with AI? In fact, there's an interesting course launched by Anthropic recently, which talks about how you not just prompt better, but how you work with AI better, including things like, are you thinking about the ethics of your relationship with AI, the content that you're making, the transparency of your content, what's the governance involved, how do you sort of ask more intelligent questions to get better answers? So it's no longer just prompt engineering, but it's actually looking at collaborative relationship with AI. So I think these are the three broad areas I feel if we can enable the workforce, then they're sort of better shaped for the future.
Wow. Yes, Conrad, absolutely. So the organization which will lead tomorrow are the ones who will have that culture in place, because for them, learning is not a program, it's how they work. So with this, I think we would be concluding our podcast today. And thank you for, sharing a lot of insights.
My
So you
pleasure.
have
My
heard
pleasure.
the insights at EduHubSpot podcast series from Konrad Fernandez from TISOL. Thank you, Conrad.
Thank you.